Penguins, the birds who suit up. The tuxedo-bearing creatures of nature. The most prevalent bird species in the Antarctic is the penguin. It is understandable that penguins are viewed as the symbol of Antarctica, given that they can live in colonies with populations larger than certain towns and endure the most extreme weather. Only 2 of the 18 different species of penguin, the emperor and the Adelie, really call the Antarctic continent home, while the chinstrap, gentoo, and macaroni breed there since it is a less severe environment. Only the warmer, more northern subantarctic islands are suitable for breeding king penguins. Even on the equator, one species, the Galapagos penguin, can be found. The southern hemisphere's colder waters are where all penguins actually call home. Welcome to the Animal Channel, the one channel for all the interesting animal facts around the globe. Ready to dive in? Let's go. The basic penguin. Penguins living in Antarctica have remarkable black and white plumage. Each species of penguin has unique colors and markings on its head and neck, such as black and white patterns, yellow patches, and elaborately colored eyebrows. The tiny penguin, which weighs 1.1 kilograms and stands about 40 centimeters tall, is roughly the same size as other penguins in terms of body shape and structure, but the emperor penguin, which can weigh up to 40 kilograms and is about 115 centimeters tall, is much larger. Penguins can stand for hours on the ice thanks to 2 cunning techniques that keep their feet at the ideal temperature, which is a few degrees above freezing. They have carefully controlled blood flow to their feet, with a decreased flow during cold weather. They have heat exchangers at the top of their legs that utilize the heat from the blood traveling to their feet to warm the blood returning to the body. Nobody is certain. It might derive from the Latin word pinguis, which refers to the fat or blubber of the bird, or from the Welsh word penguin, which means white head. The auk, a different species of bird, was first given the name penguin, also a large, flightless, black and white bird. Once upon a time, penguins were considered the most ape-like of all birds. In order to demonstrate this argument, members of Captain Scott's illustrious expedition undertook what they called the toughest voyage in the world through the Antarctic winter to acquire an emperor penguin embryo. However, they were mistaken because penguins have advanced enough to survive in the coldest climates. According to fossil evidence, penguins descended from petrels, flying birds, some 50 million years ago. At least 25 species existed, several of which are now extinct. Compared to modern penguins, certain prehistoric penguins were larger, with one species being nearly as tall as a man, 170 centimeters. Penguins cannot fly even though they have wings and feathers. Instead, they have improved over time to become the best divers and swimmers of all birds. The majority of all birds, some species spend 75% of their time at sea. Penguins literally fly through the sea thanks to their stiff, short flippers that serve as their wings. Their tail and legs work together to create an underwater rudder for their flawlessly streamlined bodies, which are situated far back in the body. In water, they typically cruise at 10 kilometers per hour. They leap out of the water every few meters to collect their breath and conserve energy while swimming. Although the most of their dives will be in the upper 10 meters, they are exceptional divers and can go to depths of over 250 meters. Their bones are thick to facilitate diving, unlike soaring birds. They are just as terrifying to their prey underwater as lions are to theirs. However, because we hardly ever see penguins in the water, our primary perception of them is limited to how they seem on land. The penguins walk awkwardly in a highly upright position, with their legs positioned far back for effective locomotion underwater. They appear to be amusing tiny individuals, which may explain why they have such exceptional attraction. Penguins are remarkably agile, even on land. With the help of their wings and feet, they can cover great distances on foot or by tobogganing, or sliding over the ice on their stomachs. Considering their size, some penguins can jump extremely high. The populations of some species, like the emperor penguin, are thought to number in the hundreds of thousands, while the majority of smaller penguin species undoubtedly number in the millions. Massive island breeding colonies, some of which are home to hundreds of thousands of nesting pairs, constitute a huge potential food source, yet penguins are of limited economic significance. A penguin oil industry previously took significant numbers of the birds, and in the 19th century, whalers and seal hunters visited several colonies in search of meat and eggs. But by the turn of the 20th century, this exploitation was no longer profitable, and the majority of colonies were either aggressively defended or left alone. Apparently, as a result of the demise of Antarctic whales in the middle of the 20th century, which compete with penguins for the krill on which both graze, some species are now multiplying. However, penguin populations are extremely susceptible to climatic and ocean temperature changes, especially recent global warming. Penguins are also extremely vulnerable to human-caused declines in the local fish species. Numerous aspects of the penguin life cycle change with body size and geographic location. Within a species, the timing of breeding may also differ in proportion to latitude. Most species only reproduce once every year. Some species, including the blue penguin and the African, most likely others in this genus, breed twice a year. In 3 years, the king penguin breeds twice. The emperor and king penguins only lay 1 egg, the other species typically lay 2 or even 3. Austral spring or summer is when the majority of penguins start mating. King penguins have a cycle that lasts between 14 and 18 months, and the timing of a particular pair depends on whether or not the last mating effort was successful. The Gentoo penguin breeds year-round in some populations. The emperor penguin breeds in the autumn, which is ostensibly scheduled so that the lengthy gestation period will result in the young in midsummer, when their chances of survival are at their highest. Between the bird's arrival at the colony and their departure, a variety of vocal and visual displays are used. Pairing and later phases of breeding are when courtship calls are utilized less frequently. The emperor and king penguins have noticeable vocal differences between the sexes, but some other species have less obvious dimorphisms. Each bird returns to the nest it abandoned the year before when it first arrives at the colony, and usually does so with its mate from the previous year, unless the death of the latter causes it to select a different mate. This holds true even for emperor penguins, who may still locate a partner despite the colony's size and lack of a nest. All species, with the exception of the emperor penguin, incubate their eggs equally between the sexes, and it starts as soon as the eggs are laid. The commotion and numerous calls that marked mating give way to stillness and lethargy with the onset of incubation. Eggs are frequently abandoned or broken as a result of poor incubation behavior by novice birds. At the egg stage, the mortality rate of eggs and chicks is crucial and varies from year to year based on the climate, the proportion of young birds in the breeding population, and the level of predation. The mortality rate for eggs and chicks ranges from 40 to 80% in general. Predators in coastal colonies include skuas, sheathbills, and the giant petrel, in that order of significance. The nocturnal habits of some penguins and the fact that they nest in burrows significantly reduce predation, which is primarily by gulls and humans, on the continents of Australia, Africa, and South America. Penguins are designed for swift aquatic movement, and they fly underwater by using their wings, or flippers, as propellers. They frequently leap out of the water when traveling quickly and may travel more than a meter through the air. It is at this time that they breathe. Penguins are even more awkward and hilarious when they are on land because they rock from side to side as they go. However, despite having tiny legs, penguins can run rather quickly. Some penguin species, like the Adelie and northern rockhoppers, walk around rocks with agility while maintaining balance with their flippers. Many penguins toboggan on snow or ice, sliding while moving forward with their feet and flippers. The primary tools for both protection and assault are the flippers and beak. The major components of the penguin's diet include fish, squid, and crustaceans. The smaller penguins in the Antarctic primarily eat krill, an animal resembling shrimp. Despite being small, up to 5 centimeters in length, krill produce dense swarms that are a rich source of food. Penguins can change their diet based on what is available, and the seasons have a big impact on what they eat. By tracking the times and depths of their dives, electronic dive recorders attached to penguins' backs provide a picture of their feeding behaviors. The record holder is a female emperor penguin who reached an astounding 535 meters. King and emperor penguins are the deepest diving penguins because they hunt for squid and fish. Even though the smaller penguins cannot dive to these depths, their performance is still impressive given their size. Gentoo penguins can dive to a depth of 150 meters, and 1/4 of their dives are deeper than 100 meters. In rare circumstances, they can dive virtually non-stop for 15 hours, totaling more than 450 dives. Both on land and at water, penguins are social animals. Their rookeries, or colonies, can be enormous and contain up to 1 million nesting pairs. You can smell a penguin rookery from a long way away in the crisp Antarctic air. These tuxedo bearers are cute dime a dozen. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like and comment below.